everyone. This is the completion of the 19th day of June 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel, where, as always, all bets, trades, and of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. Well, then, it looks to me as if beautiful setups are in play, and we could be in line for some interesting moves in the near future. When I mean near future, I mean like later today into tomorrow, in the next 24 or 30 or so hours. For some very large price movements. 10,000 Bitcoin. I mean, if I don't know how futures work, and well, I kind of do. But if you could put a future bet like for Bitcoin to be at like $9,700 in like 24 hours, it's the type of situational day where I would make a wager for such. I mean, I'm a Bitcoin holder, so I kind of already am. And let's take a look at some reasons why. Daily term time frame. I mean, this whole large rally occurred in here, and I mean, terrible line. I didn't draw anywhere near where the support was, but from this high, resistance not found in here. A little bit of congestion in here, and what we're seeing is that this thing looks very, very, very poised to be ready for a breakout above this level of resistance. For this daily candle here, it manages to well, we can see it pulls back. Then it gets what it lost that previous day on the 16th, a couple days ago, and gave it back yesterday, and it's giving it back to the upside again today. Yesterday's up session was down 273. Today it's up right now 2%. When we take a look at this on the 4-hour term time frame, this is a spot where we've had the sideways congestion, but it does look to me as if, well, it's attempting with just this move in here to resume this move, this level of resistance from before, this general area. If there's going to be any short-term support, I'd be probably looking at something around that level. But as we see within such on the single-hour term, clear statement in here. As price action, we've got 48 seconds left in the hour. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time in this many seconds as I'm doing it. So this previous level of prior support was resisted for quite some time from last night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, then falling at around 5 o'clock. A little bit of a try to come back there at 9. Another try at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock p.m. But after it tried the 12 o'clock, 1 p.m. session, it managed to do another one of those. Yeah, let's hold a higher, just this type of area here. Hold and stay within this area, congesting its highs, I guess, another way of putting it. But in here, this breakout of resistance, and 2 seconds left, 1 second left, we have a nice little continuation of that move. So that's a fantastic thing, because it tells me that within the 4-hour, most likely we're going to get continuation from here. And when we have this kind of rally, endure this sideways action, the buyers are in control, and usually these things resolve themselves in the path of least resistance. I don't have the Fibonacci line shown here, but 9,800 change I've had since the bottom occurred. And usually they hit them when the time is right, and most certainly now is that. Thus, piercing extra is more common than piercing below, and it is a pierce below now at its high of 9,477 that it had a couple days ago. On the weekly chart, of course, this is to me where it gets really exciting, because all of this occurring in here tells me that this move that started in here isn't over. There was leg 1 and its correction, and leg 2 and its correction. Now I'm looking for leg number 3 to come in. And although the Fibonacci that I look at is that 98, as I've been stating, I'm totally expecting a very large pierce above it, or noticeably over 10,000 as another one. I would have to say conservatively 10.6 to 10.8, 10,600, 10,800 is where I would be estimating for where this could go. And the overall situation for this movement is extremely wild card. If you're hearing any people talking about like 50,000, 20,000, that well, not even 20,000. 20,000 is way conservative. I want to talk about, well, first of all, anyone talking about 30,000, like we're going to get to a high, like, oh, Bitcoin go to 30, 35,000, that's laughable. That's a failed breakout if that's as high as it gets. If Bitcoin breaks 20,000, it's going to usually have a decent sized move. And you got to think like closer to 40, 50, 60, 70 as a conservative good leg breakout higher. How fast would it take to happen? Well, just looking at technical analysis and going period by period, not really caring what the time frame is. It can be a monthly, daily, weekly, minutely, a 1 minute term, a 10 minute term, it doesn't matter. If you have a spot where you were enduring a fantastic rally where prices continuously stayed above the 18 average of highs, the entire duration from this point. November of 15 to December of 2017, so that would be 25 months or 25 periods. You have a 25 period rally, and then about a little over a dozen. This would have been a little over 12 within this move. And then you have, and these two green candles, I'm not counting. That's just all part of this down consolidation. It's now been three. This is on the third green candle up. Of course, it started below the 18 average of lows. In its second one, it got above and it stayed above the highs within that period. And of course, this one, we're on the 19th day. So this month, you could say is well past the halfway point. So we're seeing the pause and holding the move. That's one thing I like to see when a big situation like this happens because it failed on multiple fronts of resistance. So now, when you fail on resistance, well, that could mean, well, just an extra larger pierce of resistance, meaning, oh, we're looking for resistance at like 65, in the 6 to 7,000 area. But it goes up here and then quickly comes back down. That's not an uncommon thing. So if it goes up there and able to hold and stay above it for that period of time, well, that tells me things are looking good. And then going to the point on how long this could take and where price action could end up resolving itself towards. Well, the previous high is a hair below 20,000, so we'll just make it say 20 just for make easy numbers. And when you figure move up to say here, this is like 65,000. That's why when I talk about, oh, this thing can go to like 30,000, I mean, that's just barely above it. That's why it'd be a failed breakout. Previous. I know there'd be nothing wrong with if that happens. Say it goes like this and then it does something like this. In fact, there's a part of me that would rather something like that happen, but whatever. I mean, let the market do what it does. And yeah, to get here, from where we stand now, and this period could end like up here. There's still another week, and I think there's a decent chance that it will. Then the next period, I mean, literally, if you have a green period that comes up to here, yeah, maybe it takes 7, 8 periods where you're just going to stay around this level. That's a possibility. But the next period, and the next period is July, could come to this level. And then you could have 2, 3 periods where you come up here. You could be hitting like 60, 70,000. And like August or November, not August, but well, if July gets above 3 periods after that, 7 plus 3 is 10. October, you could be, and then again, I'm not saying that's going to happen or make that type of prediction. But if you could have future bets where I could get plotted something like 40 to 1 odds or 60 to 1 odds for something like that, I mean, I would, two things I would think of if I was getting 40 to 1 odds for, say, $53,000 silver December 31st or something like that. One, I would probably see, do I really want to bet it? Is it a smart bet? Is it like safe as far as the funds and how I'm moving it? And is that actually good odds? Meaning, I know it's better than that. There's better than a 1% chance by far that price action will be at 50,000 before the end of the year, which normally shouldn't be the case when you're dealing with over 6 months and over a 5x move. But within market conditions, what's the chances of having 5, 6, 7 candles that can come up there? Given where we stand now, it's definitely not favored. But it's got to be higher than 1%, I would think. Then move this on to Litecoin and we'll show the monthly chart. One, two, three, four, five great green candles up in a row. And it's just not stopping. Here there was one, two, three, four, five green candles up. At this time, and of course this is different market conditions, 377 went up to like $55. And this one has went from like 24 to like 135. So that's like a 6x move. 6x move from like 4 is 24, which took us to about here. Maybe it will, but the whole point of me showing this is that you could have thought back then it was way overextended at like 17 in here, and just now people are going to be saying it's up too much. Well, maybe it is. We'll let the market decide that. As long as people are still willing to buy at these prices, well, we're still we're in accumulation within this market, and a lot of the accumulation signals are totally in play. I feel anyway. Weekly term time frame showing a little pause action this week. You can barely see it. This little week in here. That's what we got for this one. Down is at negative 0.15%. We're down 20 cents for the week right now. We'll probably end up higher maybe within this video. Well, it's break even. The movement, tiny. High is like under 140. The low is like 129. That's like 11 points. That's not even 10%. I mean, currency markets take a long time to move 10%, and this is the weekly time frame, so just a few days here. But after one, two, three, four solid great candles up, after a three correction move down, nice little two sideways moves, and it's now extended further from last week's gains. It's above that key Fibonacci, and it's holding in there. That is a very strong symbol, as I'm looking at it. Moving on next to the daily time frame. Awesome, nice little sideways action. No clear indication that it's ready to break out because it's only at best getting to this lower end of resistance at about one high 139, 140. Then you got like up to 144, 145. But I like these higher lows. You got this little lows in here from June 4th, June 5th. You got even the breakout lows from June 9th. The low here on June 14th, and then we have this low here on June 18th that it's looking like. It's one of those ones that does seem very much poised and ready to have that of a breakout move. Price action on the 4 hour got above it about 5 periods ago and has now stayed holding it above within this area. This one's a red candle down for this one, but still in that hold section. It's had a 1 hour down move. Okay, so the 4 hour hasn't been, and definitely not the daily, weekly. In fact, they look amazing, but we have a little bit of a down move after what has been a decent rally from the lows that were placed a day and a half plus ago. And continuously making all of these higher lows until now. Okay, back to where we came from. As we seen before in the 4, that we can definitely allocate correct, but I really want to see if it's going to make a statement here. The 18 to me really, really needs to hold. And where it came from, yeah, it's supporting this area. But the real general area would be closer to, this whole resistance peak here, whatever happened back in there, is to me really where I want to see a must hold. Because I'm looking for a higher low from this low in here at 129. So meeting up with even piercing below. But meeting up down in here, if it's a short-term move, is fine. So when I see something like that, I don't get too concerned on the hourly. Plus, whenever I have a good low here, piercing below the 18 average is bound to happen, and filling any spots in here, so be it if it happens. To me, though, if you get a convincing move like this, we've already established major resistance amongst this time frame at about 139. If it does recuperate it, and you can see it's attempting to do so now, getting to the 18 lows after being as low as 135 and change, now 136 high. That's a 1% move, but albeit it's attempting to come back. Oftentimes when it goes below it, you do have those quick moves. You have this move. Now it's important to hold this low because if you don't, we will be talking about correcting to some of these areas. But if it's able to get up towards this area, that to me strengthens its how big of a move it is or how powerful it would be for prospects in breaking higher if it has a sell-off of this type of nature and buyers come back in control, because that's what happens in bull markets. A lot of these sell-offs become are guilty until proven innocent. And 15-minute time frame. Well, how fast did it happen? Because I don't even know. It happened. It was in here, and you broke down below the support. And not every time you break it, like, oh, we break, we're gonna fall like a bunch of points at once. No, maybe this time, yes. And it was just a sudden quick sell. 1, 2, 3 minutes. It's done. Here's part of the recovery. Now you can calculate Fibonacci from this low to this high if you're day trading. 38 point, whatever the 61.8 down is, or what this high divided by 135.18 to the root of 0.382. Multiply 135.18 again. That is the must hold area. But I wouldn't be surprised if these markets do get going for the things that I've been showing within this. I mean, whether it will happen today or not, it does seem poised that there's a pretty good chance of it. I mean, whatever happens, happens. And if it's more sideways action and we get like 3, 4 more of these until it happens, so be it. I mean, all I'm going to do is adjust to what happens. And I'm going to get back to cryptos in a bit, especially DGB. So you can see it's up 13.2%. But gold, and it is crypto related because if gold has this major breakout, this is dollar related, this is anti fiat currency, and this pattern is just continuously getting super duper strong. Let's start off with why it's so damn good. Monthly term time frame. The smiley face, ascending triangle, inverted head and shoulders pattern. The neckline is roughly at about 1362, 63 area. It's there now. And after having this support here, higher lowering, trying to say it so it sounds right, making up words almost. 1126 was a previous low, then 1162 again. And this one could have found a higher low at 1217 or something, but no, it found a low at 1266. And we can see how it's broken past this level of resistance. The whole pattern in here is majorly screaming that this thing is poised and ready for a major breakout. As we will most likely have a fast move. Like, well, I got to think this green candle that's going to be happening for, I'm going to say June, July, or August, is going to be bigger than any of them since during this whole, it's bigger than this one. Well, what was this one? This one was up 10.75%. I'm gonna say bigger than that. Well, what is it to 1580? That's about 230 points. That's like 18%. Yeah, we're gonna most likely have a very substantially decent sized green candle that will probably come up towards this. Now, it might be a series of two. If it happens, if the whole move happens like 10 days before the end of 1 month and then 20 days after that, or whatever. But a large move I am going to be thinking within the daily in here. As the Fibonacci gets up to this level, breaks it above it, finds support, lifts off in here, and I like how it comes to this high, comes back to the lows, and it's already gotten above and is somewhat holding above this high. We'll see more clearly as we look at the shorter term time frame. This is a nice, beautiful setup. I'm just going to put a line in here for the meantime, but it's just around this level of resistance that it encountered. First, it was here, and then, well, pretty much I can keep it there. It got a nice move above it, and this is another spot where it found this area of support. It held and stayed above it, although there was about 8 periods where it was always below this Fibonacci line, but it did make the higher low. It supported the 18 average of lows. And then we had these 2 periods in here getting above that area. And when you have this and you fall back fast, not an uncommon situation to have happen. And it can be that failed breakout. But several periods you've seen staying within it. And then it made an attempt in here to get above the 18 average of highs. And I'm just going to put the resistance line in here because I can see it more clearly on the single hour in here. And it got going at about 2 p.m. I don't know if there was any Fed news announcements or anything. I don't follow that kind of stuff. It's not worth my time. But if there was, well, that would have sparked whatever. But 3 great periods in a row, moving sideways after the close. So I'll be definitely interested to be looking at this as we head into the next day. We most certainly could be giving these moves back and making a higher low coming back to the 18 in this spot, maybe. And this thing, because we were at this level of resistance, could most certainly have that big breakout. And if it does, even just a 2% move, that would be what, like 27, 28 bucks. So that would be like 13, 60 plus 30 is 90. If it gets up any over this area in here, then that's really going to spark a lot of attention and be very, very close to the opening free point. Where once you see that around like in the 14s, that's where I think it can go very, 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 very wild. And let's now, I'm going to take a quick look at silver. And it's up to $15.15, and it's at levels pretty much not seen since April 10th area. But we got this high. You come back to the 18. An attempt to break out that failed, but what didn't fail was its correctionary move from that breakout as it came down to where it came from within the 18. Then it attempted yesterday to break out. Looks like this one's succeeding as it spent the entire day today holding and staying above the 18 average, and we have a test of this 15 low change area from here, another one here, kind of one here, but this again is another reason why these should be poised to move. I'd be happy to see tomorrow that silver's up like 7%, gold's up like 2%, and Bitcoin's up 72%. But we'll see what happens. The markets always again do what they got to do. If that happens, I'd be selling some Bitcoin and probably Litecoin if it goes up with it for some silver tomorrow even. So there's a chance I would buy silver tomorrow. That's what's awesome about the market, but I'm not planning on it because the probability odds tell me that's very unlikely for this type of stuff that I'm talking about. But technically probable, or not probable, possible, not probable. I hope that's like one of those law of attraction type of things that I say where it just actually happens, but we'll see. Now let's go back to cryptos and take a quick look at a bunch of altcoins now. This first being that of Digibyte, which had a tremendous breakout day today. Well, it had a nice one. I sold some and I bought other coins with it today because the ratios allowed me to do so because this happened. Highest I sold was 169. Highest this got to was 170. And now it's been correcting it. What is going to happen now? What does this mean? Well, on the daily term time frame, this level of previous support is where we are. Okay, like always, whenever you make a statement move like this, it's going to look so much nicer on the 4. You really just got to hold the higher low somewhere where we came from. I think right now 144, 145 is the deepest I think I'd like to see it hold. Let's take a look what's going on. So this must be... Sky had an interesting day because I deposited some Sky into Binance today and I'm still waiting to sell it. Because let's just take a look at the 1 hour. It would have been like probably like lunchtime or something. I don't know. Wasn't there. Okay, let's look at 15 right in here. Yeah, right after lunch, 13:15, and I got my alert in here for it to go above there too. I only have one alert with the basic package, but I put my as this thing was breaking above 197, I put a deposit onto Binance to sell it. It still hasn't sold. I'm selling it against Go. So what's Go doing? But first, before I see what Go's doing, because I might sell it now if the ratio tells me to do so. On the daily term time frame, I mean, just these nice wild up and down moves. That's what I like to see. I think this might be a scamish type coin, possibly. No, I don't think it is. It wouldn't surprise me if it was, or if it wouldn't surprise me if this coin ends up falling in the mid to long term time frame. But my sizing holding for this is like low, so like we'll just play it. I got a few hundred worth of it, and it's like whatever. So when you're playing, always like risk reward managed to me is always job number one. And understanding the situation and its volatility to me, I think, is nice and important. But any time you can have just a nice little move like this. Let's take a look at Go and just see. From this is like purposes for me, but if you get anything out of this, right on. So it's down a bit. Okay, that could work out. Okay, possibly might make a trade. But you know what? I'm at the point where I mean, if I make a trade now, I'm going for like a min trade, worst available trade. It's like a 6% trade from my last trade that it was. And just keep flipping them back and forth. Try to get as many as I can. try to get the best deals as I can, let the volatility come into play. What I hope for in these crypto markets is that I'm away for a while, whether it's sleeping or whether I'm going somewhere or just whatever, and then a big move happens. Or even if I am there, sometimes you can have like an 80% move in like 5 minutes, a cup of coffee, which can be the time it takes to send coins over the exchange at times. But Go coin on the daily term time frame. It's had this little run from point low to point high, obviously breaking down below here on the 14th or 5 days ago, and has come piercing above this level of previous support. It could go to it, pierce below it. The overall volatility is kind of low. When we have a day here with the lowest price at 229 and the highest price at 249, that's 20 points. That's like 8%. We look at some previous days. How about this day here? High 526, low 479. That's 21 plus 26 is 47. That's 10%. And then you have, I don't know why I did that. That's my fib calculator. That was an accidental click. Days like this, I mean, it was an up day of 33%. And the volatility was a hair bit higher than that as well. Okay, anything else worth showing? I like to sort it by gainers and losers. And it's 7:23, so it'll get reset at 8 p.m. or in 45 minutes from now. Komodo, the wallets are back online. So here we have Komodo down 6.54%, and we have Komodo up 0.65%. And anything else? We got Litecoin, we already shown that. No need to really show Komodo. GRS, nothing much going on there. QTIM down 2%. I guess I can show Theta 1382. Okay, this could be nice if we get some nicer declines for some buybacks. There's one market I'm looking to trade, and I need it to go down a little bit, but I need to go down a bit more for a nice trade. In fact, if it goes down like to like say 1302, like below that, I mean I would most like, depending on what other coins do, I would have some nice little trades. But when these markets go down, it's accumulation time, and that's what I'm trying to do. I can sell other coins and pick up this one as the market goes down. And okay, this is an interesting setup. I really think it is anyway. As this rally we had at 4 p.m. looks to be a failure. So when did this top happen in here? Let's do this. Let's go like this. We have obviously a rally up to this point. So the market has to top at some point. Of course, this is the area where I want to see it hold, and it does just that. So now an attempt to regain it, it fails. Its correctionary mode, obviously not succeeding either. It has this move, but resists the 18 highs. Breaks down, and then it retests this previous level of support a second time. And within the second time, it has more shorter term testing of it again. But it succeeds in holding that. So we have all of this down move and a major statement move, all of this consolidation that happened afterwards on this move. You can see it clearly gets above the 18. And like I've always stated with a move like this, it's got to hold where it came from, hold that 18 average. And if it doesn't, and you see weakness anywhere near the 18 average of lows, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And therefore, we got the move that comes down in here. What has happened since then, and I can push this on auto so we can see it a bit better. Well, we had one sideways move afterwards, so with a little bit of that quick rally to the newly declining 18 lows. It did not resist where it came. Actually, it kind of did resist this support here, but it could have even went here either way. It comes back down within this 15-minute period. And now we are, and one of the things I've noticed about technical analysis and breakdowns is when you hit a level first, you hit it there sharply fast, like in here, and you bounce fast. Then when you come back again, you may get a little bit of a quick bounce, but nothing like it did before, which is what happened. Maybe a bit more testing within it as well, but you're going to get okay bounces and okay resistance, and only that along the way. Of course, your failed breakout in here. But then when you come back and you congest within that type of area, like we are doing so in here, that really states to me that it's ready to go down. So for me as a trader, I got different options I can choose, and I'm doing the one I'm just wait let the market do what it does. If it comes down, trying to get my drawing tool when I was doing that. But if it comes down into here, then the ratios that I trade everything else will probably play itself out, and I'll just trade accordingly. Being an owner of this coin, I could be like, you know what, let's just take some of my theta now, let's sell it, which is basically like selling short, and I'll sell some now at 1381. Maybe put a few orders in here, of course I'm not going to do this. And then I'll buy them back as it goes lower at different times. And then for every 100 theta I sell, I'll get back like maybe 108, 110, 105, depending on the volatility that I choose. And when you're playing the 15-minute time frame, you're looking to get what, 40 points on 13, so you're looking at like 3%. Or whatever you want to do. Maybe you see, oh, 4 hour term time frame. It kind of looks like it could go down. Well, if it goes down, what's the retest of this support? 1342. That's just like not much. Daily chart. Okay, maybe we do come back. Maybe we do another 15, 12% move, and it might even break this support. I mean, this is something I would be interested to see happen because I would actually be very confident, happy, and excited, actually, as weird as it might sound, if price action were to do something like this. And I say this all the time, so many things I say all the time. Market's going to do what it's going to do, yada, yada, yada. And I'm going to react to it, what it does. But if it were to, say, have a move down in here and settle out back in here, maybe even go down to like 750, well, I might have twice as many theta as I do now. And the prospects moving forward could be a lot better. Of course, I'm taking the risk reward on the coin, and I'm always going to have the psychological the same on the down moves and up moves. On the down moves, I know the strategy works. I know I'm accumulating, but am I buying to something that's going to nothing? Is it going down? Oh my god! And then I realize it's going to be like this and that. That always sticks in my head, but it's not like as bad as it used to. And then when it's going up, I can hear, oh, selling, but it's just I don't want to sell when it's at like something at like 30 cents when it's going to go to $3 kind of deal. But I mean, whatever. I just let the math do what it does and just trade according to the plan. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.